We can do anything, if we really want to. Even if we don't know how, even if we don't think we have the skill sets or capability to do it, if we'll just keep taking the next step, we can all run our marathons. Lean into those strengths, lean into what you want to learn. I'm Mackenzie Gregerson. I was born in Ohio. I am a Buckeye fan. And I was raised across the East Coast, but mostly in Georgia. So I do consider myself to be a Southern girl. I love mountain biking, road biking, rock climbing is one of my favorites, skiing, reading, traveling. I inherited my adventurous spirit from my grandma. She's traveled all over the world. I've learned many things from her, including that no matter where I go, everyone's essentially the same. Everyone wants to love, be loved, serve, and make a difference. I've had a lot of brushes with death and experiences with death from a really young age. That's probably part of why I love every day of my life so much. When I was 14 years old, I went to try out a new horse, and I asked her to pick up the speed a little bit, and she panicked and bucked me off. All except for my foot, which did not come out of the stirrup. So she's bucking and kicking as wild as you can imagine a bronco, and I'm hitting the ground and she's kicking my legs, and I realized I think I'm gonna die, and I hope my life was good. When my foot came out of the stirrup and I survived, I stood up and I promised myself, if there's something I want to do in my life, I'm just gonna do it, because maybe there won't be a tomorrow. I was 16 and a half, and my mom started having excruciating headaches. The fluid would drain out, and her brain was literally sitting on her skull. They tried the blood patch, and it worked. So to this day, she's doing well. But a year later, my dad had an aneurysm. So I had a natural interest in neuroscience. My dad actually tried to convince me not to do it at first. I knew it was gonna be hard, but I decided that's what I wanted to do, and I was just gonna do it anyway. And I loved my undergraduate career in neuroscience. The teachers, to the classes, even the tests. I know I'm a nerd. Years later, I was joking with a friend and just threw out there, I should get an MBA. And like a bolt of lightning, I just knew that was the next step for me. And here I am, doing something even better than I could have imagined. So the end of my college career, I got into biking, road cycling, and I had a bike that I loved and decided one day I was going to ride from Provo to Salt Lake and back, which is 100 miles. I had never ridden that far before. The furthest I'd ever ridden was 30 miles in a given sitting. And while I was up there, I made it halfway, and on the way home, I had run out of food, run out of water, my battery had died on my cell phone, so there was gonna be no calling for help either. I came out of the city and there was a very strong wind blowing against me, so strong I had to pedal to go down a very steep hill. I was really discouraged and in pain and wondering, why is this happening to me? I just want to go home, I'm trying so hard. And when I got around a bend in the road, I could see behind me a perspective I couldn't see before. Behind me, chasing me, was a massive storm. So massive that in that moment I realized if that storm had caught me, I would not have made it home, at least not on my bike. So that wind that was a deterrent, that was discouraging, that was really hard, that I felt like was pushing me away from home, it was blowing away the storm. That would have been a lot worse than that wind would have been. Be grateful for the things that are hard. That's the very thing that's helping me become who I am and to finish what I need to finish, and be grateful for the win. Waiting is the key to old age. If you want to age and be old, then just stick around and do whatever you're doing. Don't check things off of your list. Don't try new things. Just stay doing exactly what you're doing. But to feel fulfilled and say, what's on my tombstone, that's gonna come from stopping the waiting. So don't wait. I am always someone who's had some sort of side hustle. So I paid for college, I started a horseback riding business. The hobby that I have that occupies my outside of work time now is real estate. The pandemic occurred, and so I figured now is the time to live my dream. I've always wanted to live in a camper van, so I did. I bought a 1999 GMC Safari that was built out into being a camper van and rented out my house while I was gone. And that's when I realized how much I loved the experience of real estate. I was able to help the person who's renting my house learn how to buy their own house. If you have something that you want to do, trust yourself enough to know but that's probably exactly what the world needs you to do. So, do it.